Come on, you know what I want. Yo, shout out to the Most High. It's always a high season when we're in our Lord's state. You're now tuning into another episode of I Need to Know. I am L-Deez, also known Party Boy Lawrence the One, with my special guest. Introduce your name, G.
Man, you got Casual in the building. What's up?
What's up, man? I like to ask all my guests, first off, how did you get your name?
Casual, that's interesting. I don't know, I'll keep it a buck. I probably named myself Casual back in the day because I didn't like Fatso or Electric Boogaloo no more.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about I picked that up in like junior high, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Right after the breakdancing. So it wasn't a name nobody else gave me. I was like looking for a rap name and thought that was clean. You know?
Okay, for sure, for sure. So for those that don't know, Casual is one of the members of the legendary Hieroglyphics group. Hieroglyphics, Hiero, I'm fly, bro.
Yes.
So you know it's crazy because like back in the hip hop days and shit like that, me and my partners, we was devious embryos and we used to look forward to y'all shows or just hearing new shit. So we looked up to y'all niggas, still do, man, and thanks for being a part of my hip-hop experience.
Hey, that's cool. I just was laughing to myself because you said back in the hip-hop days. But I know what you meant, though. You meant for you, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So this is what I was going to say, and I'm glad I was going to ask you this, man, because in retrospect, 1995, do you look at hip-hop being still young then? In retrospect.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. 1995 hip-hop was very young still. I mean, honestly, it's still young, you know what I'm saying? We just now getting 45 and 50-year-old rappers, though. So we don't know if we could have a 70-year-old rapper yet until it get a little bit older, you know what I'm saying?
The crazy thing is Too Short is only like about 15 years from there.
I mean, there you have it, and he's still dropping hot ones.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean, if you look at other genres of music, this ain't sports. We the only ones who want to limit ourselves like that. Like, oh, you're going to have a bum knee in rap? You can't really have a bum knee in rap. I mean, you can look bad on stage with your performance, but your bar work and your voice, it might still sound cool. Like, you might even have more knowledge and more experience to give to people at an older age. You know?
I got to ask you a question because I always want to know this about Hiero and all y'all because I'm a huge fan, you know what I'm saying? Like one of my hip-hop dreams was to perform at Hiero Day, and I just did Hiero Day with my the person that make my beats, Trackademics. Tim House hooked it up.
Okay, that's good.
So I was feeling real good and shit like that, though. So when people talk about the greats in Northern California or California, nobody's name ever come up, and I'll be like, man, one of the tightest rappers from the Bay Area, always mention Casual and Dale the Funky Homo Sapien.
I mean, it depends on who the people is. I mean, I have felt that way a lot of the times too, but you know, you only are where you are, you know what I mean? Like I could have done a lot more if that was on my mind to be on the forefront to people to say that I'm the illest, if that was what my goal was, then I would have did a lot of more work to make sure that I got that outcome. And so a lot of the MCs and people I looked up to when I was coming up was under the radar. Yeah. They flew below radar. They was like the best kept secret. Yeah. And I always thought that was raw. I always thought it was raw to have somebody that people didn't know about that I could one up anybody with in music. Yeah. Like, oh, listen to this. Yeah. And they'd be like, oh, man, dude, raw. I never heard of him. But I kind of turned out like one of them MCs.
But the cool part about it is, like, have you seen, y'all rap crew, like Wu-Tang is a rap crew group, right? So when you look at the lineup, I would say like you kind of fit the bill as a go both way artist. Yeah. Like if I heard you on stage at a Short concert and you did a song with Short, and then I hear you do some shit with Festo or Dale, it's still your crew, or you know what I'm saying? Then it go both ways. So you know you could do the street shit too.
I mean, to me, it's just really one thing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just different ways you expressing yourself at different times. It's an art to me. Yeah. When I wanted to come across that way, I'm being more real to how I actually feel as a black man in America. Okay. And if I'm relaying that, you're going to just hear the street come out because that's a lot of what's underlying those thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Just just doing stuff in Oakland. But when I want to try to get artistic and work with the syllables and show them that I know a little bit more about the art of rhymes, then the content might have a little bit less of my Oakland experiences and more of what I think hip hop should be about. And so, I run the gambit with that. And there are a few artists who could do it like that. You know what I'm saying? You could do this style or do that style. There are a few on top, but I don't think it's advantageous for anybody to pigeonhole themselves into just doing one style anyway. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So your first album was Fear Itself.
Yeah.
Did you make that beat?
Now, I made a lot of the beats on the album. When you say, did you make that beat, I think you're referring to my lead single, That's How It
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Dale made that beat.
Okay.
And so that process back then was different, though. I'm talking about it was straight, genuine process. Before all the computers, before the garage band, we was cutting school, going to Dale house to find what we now call studio time. Back then, we just was like, let's go play with the machines and, you know what I'm saying, and make something. And so Dale made that beat, but I was like, man, this me right here, because it was kind of hard sounding, and I felt like I wanted something to say over that.
That was one of my favorite songs that came out like 1994.
I
was in 10th grade. I'm going to tell you what I was listening to. You Made My Tape. You know what I'm saying? Had Nas Illmatic on 2 tapes. Nas Illmatic on one side, Casual on the other side. Then I had, what else did I? And I had Nas Illmatic on another one. And I forgot what was on the, Outkast. Outkast Southern Playlist California. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that shit was dope, man. And back in the tape days, if you played it one way, it'll flip over the other one. You know what I'm saying? So I got to ask you, how many solo albums do you have today?
About 11, I think.
11?
Something close to that, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 11 to 12. Honestly, keep it a buck. I was asking myself that the other day. I was like, I mean, if you include our group albums, then it would be more. And other works I've done under the, Hieroglyphics banner, there'd probably be 3 more records, but about 11 albums.
Okay. Well, you know what? I like to ask random questions, so I got to throw the throwback question of last week in there.
All right, what's that?
Okay. Nas, right? Professionally, does he have a less than impact, a equal than impact, or greater than impact in hip-hop than Tim Duncan to basketball?
Oh, no, Nas got a greater impact to hip-hop than Tim Duncan has to basketball.
Okay.
There are a lot of other power forward centers, you know what I'm saying, like Tim Duncan that I can name. You can't name too many other MCs or lyricists like Nas. You'll be hard-pressed to do that. And, I mean, I even say that Tim Duncan's predecessor, you know what I'm saying, David Robinson, right on the same team, was just the same category of player, but you can't find the same category of MC like a Nas just so easily, you know what I'm saying?
You know what? This is what I'm going to say. Because I think about the time the 90s hit, I think that a lot of the rappers from the 90s, of course they were looking for people, up to people from the previous generation.
Yeah.
I think if Nas, let's just say, if he's Michael Jordan, let's just say, I think that Rakim will be his Dr. J.
Nas ain't Michael Jordan, but I hear you. I hear
like
what I'm listening to your analogy, but it just stopped me real quick because now he great and everything.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying Rakim
and I hear
is the
your
shell.
The
Rakim.
Now we talking.
Nas is like the second coming of Rakim because me and my business partner, he didn't see the similarities in him.
Then we'll be talking about LeBron and Mike when we talking about Rakim and Nas. So.
I would say the second coming of Mike would be Kobe.
I mean, I'm just giving Nas his just desserts, you know what I'm saying? And not to take nothing away from what I said. But you know what I'm saying? This artistry, I don't really I used to play the best game and all that when I was younger and less wise, you know what I'm saying? Thinking that there was a pinnacle to lyrics, and there's not. There's not. I mean, it's not a perfect poem that is just going to be like, oh, there's none to come after this one, you know what I'm saying? Because you could always even build on that one.
That's right.
And so, you know, I used to be like, oh, yeah. Now I just be like, just be killing the majority of people, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, be in the top 1%, the top 5%, and let people choose who they think the best of those people are.
Because it's a move for everything. Like, rappers came so far, like, let's just say, like, it started off French bread. Then somebody said, you know what, I could put some cheese on this shit.
Well, you know what? Honestly, to keep it a buck, I was doing some, because I'm an independent researcher, and I was doing some thought on that this morning, a really intuitive thought, and thinking about the problem that we have, particularly as black men, with copying things.
Yeah.
Now, to understand where I'm coming from with this, I don't want to confuse nobody, because we, from our generation, we understand copying as being illegal as biting.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? You can't copy nothing, right?
Hip-hop days.
Exactly. But that got thrown out a little bit. But we're dealing with American society and the rights of intellectual property, the things that you create and come out of your head. It's already, we got copyright laws.
Yeah.
And so the things that banished or made copying bad is the American structure of copyright. You shouldn't bite nothing. But that ain't true. Americans are the first biters. Go listen to the Star Spangled Banner. They just took Britain's national anthem and rewrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
But that ain't my point. I'm trying to get to my point. Look, and as a natural man, we have to understand copying is a good thing.
Yeah.
Copying ain't bad. If you see a good template of a person or a man and you see attributes, you can identify attributes that you think are good in that person, it would be wise for you to try to take some of them attributes on yourself. You know what I'm saying? But we confuse naturalism, so to speak, with capitalism, and we start to think like money people all the time, and then we don't understand how we could progress further in our natural lives by messing it up with the rules of capitalism.
Yeah.
And so just to give a stark example of that, if you go back to primitive man, I'm talking about just take the two first men when they was just nothing on earth and just bushes, right?
Okay.
And then one of the primitive men just made a kill, and he about to go get his meat. I just killed this animal. I'm about to eat this. He gorgeous.
Okay.
The second primitive man made a kill, and he looked at his kill, and he looked at a rock on the ground and was like, I'm not about to put my face all in that meat. I'm going to take this rock and carve the meat off the bone and sit here and eat upright.
Yeah.
Now, if the man who was healed over looked at the man who finally invented a technology and brought a new, if he looked and he had some type of ego that stopped him from emulate, all right, we'll talk about that too, stopped him from copying that man in order to progress himself, in order to, then he just stupid.
That's right.
But again, when we talk about it, it's different copying. There's a whole bunch. We got the bad copying and the good copying.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like imitation, we call that the bad copy. It's an imitation. It's not the real thing. It's trying to be exactly like the real
generic
thing. Yes, it's an imitation. But then we got simulation.
Spin-off?
When people say we live in, just like a spinoff. But a simulation is trying to mimic the exact characteristics of the thing while presenting itself as something different or fooling you like it's the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, like they say, simulated reality.
Okay.
They say reality might not exactly be real, but it might be fooling us like it's real. Then we got emulation, which what I call the good copying.
Okay.
Because that is building on the qualities that you deemed good in art or whatever you have. And so when we try to figure out this biting stuff and stuff, you could just take Drake style and know, okay, how could people rock Drake style? But some of them do it good. Yeah. And I wouldn't say nobody do it better than Drake, but you might just be listening to some music and see that he's
Dre or Drake?
Drake. I mean, but it applies to any of the greats that are leaders like that. You can say Drake too. People took his style and tried, and some people did really good making those beats, but I was specifically thinking Drake. And to say, my point is, those who leave a good impression upon you while trying to, you know what I'm saying, build on something, that's just emulation, and that ain't bad necessarily in natural life. You know what I'm saying? That's
I got to ask you a question. Speaking of emulation and stuff like that, name an MC, right, that you was listening to and be like, damn, this motherfucker kind of reminded me of me. Outside of yourself, name an MC name two MCs or one that remind you of yourself.
You know what? I don't got too many MCs that remind me of myself, but I be hearing some new ones that I don't know their names, that I be like, dang, he got my wit, and he kind of like emulating my wit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say doing it better, but you know, if somebody could listen to you for 20 years and they brain growing, then they should be able to LeBron to Mike, anybody, you know what I'm saying? And so I can't really pinpoint no MC that I was like, dang, he got that format. Oh, you know what? Yeah. But not in a comparison to me, but if you want to get extremely like MC analytical, there's a person running some styles right now named 38 Special.
Okay.
And he kind of like fabulous to me because he definitely understands the art, but he's so, to me, lyrically, he kind of, I don't know, disrespect to him because he's one of the best to me. And we talking about like mastery, like kung fu greats talking about each other. Ain't no disrespect in the words, but he kind of stuck in his template to me because I could write his template down. I could show you what he's doing mathematically, and then I could show you he don't do nothing else.
Okay.
And so, again, this is a person who left a great impression upon me when you talking about people. I was like, dang, Special got it. Yeah. But then when I analyze, I'm like, why it don't ever come up out the 4-5 syllable rhyme pattern ever, you know what I'm saying? And so, again, that's not a knock to my brother. That's a compliment. And the only people I even discuss, it's almost like a great boxer. You don't never want to be comparing yourself or to no chump or no weasel. You know what I'm saying? You want to compliment even your opponents because you don't want to make yourself look stupid. Like, well, why you going against somebody that's so weak? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
So you just dropped this new album called The Big Head Scientist.
Big Head Scientist.
Now, you know I got to get into that, right? You that's a reference to Yaku the Big Head Scientist.
See, Yakub was the Big Head Scientist. The album called Big Head Science, but the knowledge came from a production group in Oakland actually called Big Head Science. So I just put what came to me when building with them was like economic. Big head science, like knowing money, because you know we call the money the big heads.
See.
And then the science is the science. And so right now we dealing with a situation where we would need somebody to refashion economics and bring it to the people in a way that they can actually discuss getting paper, because we can't even discuss getting paper. Us three. If I started to ask you how you getting your bread from this podcast, I'm gonna start touching on sensitive situations. Exactly. If you was asking me, so how you directly getting your money, we gonna start turning into N-words or whatever. You know, we gonna get real nagardly with it, I'd say. And that's a different word that's actually a real word that mean the same thing. You know what I mean? And so I don't appreciate that. I'm like, okay, well, we need to open up that platform, and we need to start discussing really how to break.
You know what? I want to give a shout out to MC from Oakland, man. I was on Facebook or wherever they was at, man, letting motherfuckers know how to get their money and giving them some words.
Who that was?
That was Casual.
Oh, see, I've been doing that since day one. If you want to look it up, I'll tell them like this, man. You can go to April 2012 on my Facebook. And I'm screaming from the top of the mountain, man, this shit called Bitcoin. It's $77 right now. $77 on my page. You can see, I'm like, man, me and my wife about to buy one. But I think it was either 77 or 477. I started watching it at $77, and I did all my research to 477. And I was like, man, it's time to blow the bullhorn. So I have been trying to disseminate information, and it's just I think that shit cool. Like,
you know what else I thought was cool? I thought it was cool that you was coming off the head on the Hobo Junction. I know where I was at that night. Like I said, man, I'm an old school. The Hobo Junction and hieroglyphics battle.
Well, I'm glad you thought that was cool, because I mean, coming away from that battle, looking 20 years later, that was one of the staples. That was one of the the game-breaking moments, I should say, that lived out of that battle. I feel the material from both parties was not the best he or I could have done, you know what I'm saying? But the things that remained in hip-hop, the phone calls I got from MCs, from Q-Tip, to Monch, to everybody telling me, yo, you freestyled that whole battle?
Because Saphir had bars.
Because he had bars and he had writtens. And again, to know the nature of things, Saphir came to my house before the battle. Our partners was bumping too many heads.
Yeah.
But on some general shit, generals don't really just go at it like that. Like, okay, I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. We wasn't sending, he probably was, I don't think he was sending nobody either. But you know, your crew represent a banner and they gonna do what they can in their manhood to represent their banner. We straight on some hip hop shit. I mean, I was probably the one who could have caused some dudes to the situation. But that wasn't the nature of it. I wasn't even dealing with Hiero to act more street. I kind of was dealing with Hiero to escape from that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So when me and Saphir would build on it, we was building like two generals. And he'd be like, this what I'm gonna do. And I'd be like, you gonna do that? This what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, you gonna freestyle? Oh, I'm gonna you freestyle. I'm writing shit about you and everything. And I'm like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I told him I'm not gonna pay you the respect. You know what I'm saying? For you to have that and then just think I'm about to go sit down and focus on you. Whatever pop up, pop up. You know what I'm saying? And we built like that on my porch. And I didn't live in West. It was Norfolk, or about 36, whatever. You know,
That's
36 and Martin Luther King.
That's the hood I'm from, right there by the freeway.
Exactly. That's where I had a little spot right next to Eli's Mile High Club.
Yeah,
he came through on the cut, though. I was like, this crazy because, you know, I'm with it. Yeah, come through. I know you ain't, you know.
Shout out to Hobo Junction. Shout out to Hiero.
Shout out to Hobo Junction.
KMEL put that on, right?
You know what? We made the Wake Up Show back then. Man.
The Wake Up Show. That shit was great.
I mean, I ain't saying we made the Wake Up Show, but I tell you, man, it was like the pinnacle moment of the Wake Up Show. And after that, they did battles every week. I'm talking about every week. See, this was the first time the industry discovered the monetization of the battle. Because people have been battling forever, but the monetization of it happened with Saphir and Casual. Because it turned into a whole thing that led out of radio and into things like the Lyricist Lounge on MTV, but that I never had a part of or never was invited on or nothing. I didn't even know how they could even throw that show without ever bringing nobody from Hiero on the Lyricist Lounge. Knowing that half of that TV show they had on MTV was inspired by that whole freestyle movement that freestyle battle pushed forward in hip hop.
You know what's crazy? Because I was going through my mental Rolodex and I was going through Higher Thoughts, right? And I was like, wow, Oakland is one of those cities that a lot of people come here and get great ideas from. You know what I'm saying? Like Star Wars dude, see the cranes and he put them in the movie. Fairyland, you know that's an idea that Walt Disney got to make Disneyland, right?
Real?
A lot of people don't know that.
I don't know that. Fairyland was there before Disneyland.
That's what, I'm pretty sure. This is what I heard.
That's easy research to do, but
This is what I heard. So I was just like, damn, no. It's like Oakland is its own city in itself, and it's like, damn, people come here, look at shit that we, you know, and then they just blow this shit up. So it's like, what you were saying is like basically they got the idea to do Lyricist Lounge and
I didn't mean to imply they got the idea definitely directly from that. I meant to imply that realizing that battle rap or battles could be monetized, open up idea light bulbs in people's head, and they like, oh, there's other playing fields we can monetize this on.
Rap shit.
We can put it on MTV and just be freestyling all the time about different things and never include Hiero. I mean, that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
So what is your favorite album that you got to date? The one that you most proud of?
It'll always be the newest one, probably, because I like my newest material most. Always, but I don't really got no favorite albums like that. You know, one of my own catalog. My albums to me are like movies, so to speak. I would say the Hierophant, you know what I'm saying, the certain type of effort to make a portrait like that is an album where I was like, just like, I ain't cussing on this album. I'm talking about all conscious material. And again, I do albums like a movie director does movies, so I don't necessarily want to let nobody down. Like listening to my album is a direct window into my life, on my growth. It is, so to speak, but I'm just like, okay, this one about to be about this, and all the content gonna be like this.
Yeah.
And so, on that particular album, the Hiero font, I wanted to include a lot of, knowledgeable content, good soulful music, have a lot of live instrumentation and stuff like that. And so the effort that went into producing that, could say that's one of my favorites.
Okay. And I know that you're now part of the Black conscious community, and I assume that you've always been part, but now since it's out there, right?
I mean, I definitely always been part. I'm a rock squad up. I'm casual to Magi Archer, please believe. And if they know anything about that, I wrote a handbook for the conscious community called Magi. You know what I mean? I wrote it a few years ago because I was tired of these unresearched pseudo-isms is what we call them. You know what I'm saying?
Know what? Explain the term pseudo. I know that's a diss that they use. Like, that's pseudo. That's pseudo.
But in science,
pseudo
simply means fake.
Okay.
A pseudonym is a fake name. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, I ain't gonna say, I don't want to taint it and say it's like placebo, but pseudo actually is like fake knowledge, almost like what they call folk etymology, when you think a word comes from another word because it sounded like, but they really ain't got no relation to. Yeah, people be pseudo with their science too. So pseudoscience is an actual thing. Pseudoscience is a real thing. If you look up pseudoscience, you're going to find out that all of these fake scientists who was like, ooh, if you take an apple and spin it 3 times, you know what I'm saying? It's going to ferment or whatever. It's fake science. And so the prefix on pseudoscience is pseudo. And then honestly, with the Amara Squad dealing with so many pseudoscientists with bad methodology in the conscious community, my man Anka Cat, I got to give Brother Ank the shot. He started pseudo. Everybody say pseudo right now, but Brother Ank started pseudo. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I think somebody at the door. Okay.
Right, Neek.
Yeah. So, Neek at the door. But what was I going to say to you? So do you study Egyptology?
Oh, definitely I study Egyptology.
So this is what I want to know. Mm-hmm. If somebody study Egyptology and they say, I'll study Kemetic science, is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing, but you know what? It's kind of different because they trying to be political and changing the name of, basically, they want to exclude the Europeans. Egyptology was started in Germany during the Nazi era. Okay. I'm talking about that science in school couldn't be found before, you know what I'm saying, it was one of the Rockefellers funded them to run into Africa, steal everything you can, study it, and then start a series of studying this stuff, and we'll call it Egyptology. And so the people who have a problem with that don't even want to call it Egyptology. The word Egypt, they say, was given to that nation by Greeks, you know what I'm saying? And they will say Kemet was the original name. And so people who want to pay reverence to Egypt before it got any influences from Greek culture or what have you would say they're Kemetologists. So,
okay. So, now, do you, Young Pharaoh, and Brother Polite, do all three of y'all believe different things?
Yeah, we definitely do.
Okay.
Definitely.
But all y'all say that y'all study Egyptology though, right?
Yeah, but see, again, when we start talking about, I don't want to call nobody pseudo and we go there, but Young Pharaoh don't be 100 with his research all the time, and that's just what I conclude as a member of the Magi Archers and the Amara Squad. What we deal with is sources, okay? Because anybody could say anything. And so in order to verify that, at least if you're not dealing with intuition, then we got to use our logic to see if what you're giving us intuitively makes some sense. But if you're dealing with things that are sourceable material, then we deal with primary source material. You can't deal with a subject and then act like you got the knowledge on it if you haven't even dealt with the primary source material. Meaning if I'm talking about something that happened at this studio right now, and I ain't never been here, and I only take Neek word for it, and then I go tell people what Neek said about it, you feel me? I ain't even got a primary source on how it's really going down. And so a lot of the things that our young good brother
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just a buck to keep it a buck. But young Pharaoh is young Pharaoh, and so he got a lot of growing to do. Yeah. And I've always been proud of him. Look, young Pharaoh came into the conscious community as an opposing force to everything we was doing at the Amara Squad because we trying to bring real data with rigorous research methodology and sourceable material to the community that they could look up and see is actually popping like that.
Yeah.
Young Pharaoh came in immediately bumping heads with a lot of the people on purpose because he had his own following. But they, again, when I was talking about naturalism and capitalism and the two things that start to conflate, they say when art meets commerce, something got to give.
Yeah.
Either the art gonna give or the commerce gonna give. So either you're gonna be like, I'm gonna change my music so it make more sales, or you're gonna be like, I'm gonna sell my shit for more because I ain't changing my music. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Those are the two directions you could pull in. Where the same happens in, the same happens in the conscious community, so to speak. And I'm gonna say like, well, between what we call right, proper knowledge and pseudoisms, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, respect the brother Polite. You know, we did a debate out in New York against ISUPK or some of the fashions of the Hebrew Israelites when they put Kemet on trial. I was one of the researchers that they called out to help the Kemetic team. So it turned out being me, my man, Brother Ankh, and Brother Polite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we definitely all believe in different things, and rightfully so.
Yeah. And you ever studied any of the Nuwapian science?
A little bit. I ain't got, you know what I mean? Like I said, when dealing with the template that the Amara Squad set forth for information we should retain and disseminate, a lot of that don't qualify because it's non-sourceable material. Yeah. And when I talk about sourceable material, I'm talking about hitting people off with, where you get that from?
Yeah.
And if they ain't got no answer, then don't even accept it as valid because they're going to start and then this one book said, I was watching YouTube. And you can just ask in that question. And if you want to ask it in a scholastic way without, disrespect, you just say, give me a source on that.
Yeah.
And if they ain't got a source, then you asking, so he just running his mouth right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And without, you ain't even got to say that, you ain't got no source. Oh, okay.
And how did you get linked up with the Amun-Ra Squad?
That's, you know what I'm saying? This is a long time coming, like I'm talking about 2010. There used to be blog talk radios. Before it was Instagram and all these other things was popping, we was getting on blog talk radio and, hey, we could hit that air a little bit though. Hey, we was getting on blog talk radio and, you know what I'm saying, and doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, they would have a show called The Destruction of the Black Civilization or something like that. I can't remember. And then they changed it to Reconstruction of the Black Civilization. But I would call in. I was a caller on their show. And when they wasn't saying right stuff, I'm like, man, ain't nobody calling saying that they wrong or nothing. Yeah. So I got my heart up a little bit like, man, I got to just tell them that ain't right here. You know what I'm saying? They the ones inspired me to research. Now that I got something to say, let me say it.
Yeah, and what's the name of that book that you said that you wrote?
Magi.
Magi?
Magi, a handbook for the conscious community.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 318-page book, and it covers various sources, various information. It's not like the type of book that you going to, like, buy to read from front to back. It ain't a novel, it's a research book. So when people are discussing certain topics, you got a point of reference you could go to and say, what did you see on that topic? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I covered a lot of the topics that people was talking about in the conscious community at about the time that I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So how did you get the deal with Jive?
Oh, that was crazy. I cut school and went to a convention that the tickets cost $500 and they wouldn't let me in. So we blocked the doors and said, we can't get in, y'all can't get in. And we start rapping and the executives was like, they got heart and they got bars. Yeah. And then when I got back to the town, because it was in Frisco, like 1991 or 2,
yeah.
When I got back to 92, when I got back to the town, my answer machine, you know, you had the answer machines with the little tapes on them.
Yeah.
Man, it was full. It only took 30 messages, and it was full. And I was like, why my answer machine blinking full after I cut school today? You know what I'm saying? For real, that's what the thought process was when I came into my house, because I kind of stayed in the basement of my mom's house so I could come through the side door. Looked at the answer machine, I pressed the button. All right, it was all record execs. No lie, dude. The connections that the industry got is crazy. Because the first thing I was thinking was, how they get my number? I could not figure out how they got my number. So
wait.
Yes, bro.
Y'all didn't have no chords or nothing?
Nothing, bro. I didn't give out nothing. I got so drunk that I got lost that night. I got lost after that in Frisco. That's how young and stupid I was, because I drank like a 40 ounce after we had, rapped at the thing.
Praise
got
God.
lost. Yeah, exactly. I got lost in Frisco. I'm calling Curious George, that's the rapper. That's when, you know what? When we blocked the doors of the lobby, some other rappers joined in with us. When we blocked the doors of the elevators, other rappers joined in with us, because you couldn't go up the elevator unless you had a pass.
Okay.
Gavin Convention 92. So he's like, oh, we can't go up, y'all can't go up. And everybody had their passes. Like, hold up now. But honestly, just to keep it real, it was 2 other elevators next to us.
Okay.
And so we knew, we was calculated. We was like, well, if they really want some beef, they just gonna go to the next damn elevator. You know what I'm saying? Like, they not gonna bowl us over. You know what I'm saying? So people was looking at the spectacle, and a crowd formed. And then it turned into the thing that was happening at the convention spontaneously at that moment. I mean, when I looked around, I was like, dude, we got like 70 people listening to us with badges on in front of the elevator doors that we blocked. Pharaoh Monch, this is when I first met Pharaoh Monch.
Okay.
He walked up and joined us, because when we first blocked the doors, other people was like, hell yeah, we can't get up, let's rock. One of the people did that was Pharaoh Monch, and another one was Curious George. And I can't remember if Prince Poe was there. But Prince Poe was, I think Prince Poe might have been there, but I definitely know Pharaoh Monch was there. You know what I'm saying?
So when you got to the house, and then there was some record execs and shit like that, right? So the person that called you was somebody from Jive?
The person, I had like 30 messages.
Okay.
On my machine. It was Hollywood Basics. It was a lot of people.
Okay.
And I was like, this is crazy.
So how quick from that phone call did you connect the dots and get signed to Jive?
Maybe like 8 months, or a year. But that was my entrance into the door. That was because again, whenever you're trying to penetrate any industry, that's the problem black people have. You don't know nobody in that industry. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know nobody in that industry, you just locked out of that industry. Even if you, I don't want to go too deep, but if you start even go Google what the word industry mean, what does industry actually mean, and look into the etymology of the word industry. It's actually just like a circle of clever people with one skill who come together in order to, I ain't gonna say lock people out, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what an industry is. And so if you can't get into the industry without doing some stark, brave stuff like we did on that night, unless you're just gonna keep on sending demos to labels. You know what I mean? So it worked for me.
For sure. Okay, how long did you stay on Jive?
About 94 to 97.
Cool.
And it was like, young man, we was like, I got a lot of thoughts about that, but as young dudes, we wanted off the label. If you think about it, if you go do hip hop history, we were part of the initial movement that started speaking against major record labels.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There was I think it was KRS-One, but the one that comes to me primarily is the lyric said by, we were all on the same label, by Q-Tip. You know, KRS-One, Q-Tip, we was all on Jive, Tribe Called Quest. And
who had that album cover with everybody?
That was Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
Record industry rule number 4080. Record company peoples are shady. See, that was one of the first lyrics that you could find in protest of record companies. Before that, it was like, oh, you got to get a deal. You got to sign a deal. You might get some better hip-hop historian could go deep and find that, but this is one that sparked the movement, because if you think about the movement against label, it was started by all Jive artists. And they were a little bit more poised and older than us, and we was young, but we was with the S, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was with it like that, and so we was like, we gonna be disruptive too, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. We never said those words, but I just gathered all of our actions into a little small sentence, and I guess that's what we concluded, that we did not want to participate with our label, and we wanted off the label, you know what I'm saying?
So how did it work? Did they get all y'all as a group? Like,
that's a good question.
Like Hiero, Casual, Dale.
I got signed solo. It worked different because the Souls of Mischief being a group, 4 members of Hiero are in that group. So they automatically got 4 members of Hiero by signing the Souls. Yeah. Then they signed me. This is Jive Records. Dale got signed to Elektra, and that's what it was at that time. And they also signed Extra Prolific, was a group that was down with Hiero back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And so it was different because we all on the same label. We got different business relationships with those labels. And that was another thing we failed to understand as young people. I mean, we knew it to a certain extent, but we didn't speak on it wisely like we should have, and we didn't leverage it to our favor, you know.
Did they, when you signed, right? Let's just say like they would have signed all the hieroglyphics. Let's just say they would have signed all the hieroglyphics, all members of y'all. In a, what is that, 60, 80, 360 deal or some shit like that. Would they be able to like get money off the circle with the 3 dots?
That's a good question. If they would have signed hieroglyphics, which they wouldn't have been able to do because we wasn't a group like that back then. So, you know, we had never made songs all together. I mean, we made Burnt, but that wasn't what our focus was. So they wouldn't have been able to do that. But if they would have, definitely our logo, which was our trademark, which was our intellectual property, would have possibly been licensed to that label. You know what I'm saying? We would have owned it and retained it, but they would have been able to make money off it while they had the license to do so. You know,
so drop some signs, you know what I'm saying, about what kind of deal is that? Like, say, like, even if y'all leave that Jive deal, something like Hiero Day, they would have been able to get some money off of.
Oh, that don't happen. But that's a 360 deal.
That's what I mean.
360%, just like 360, like a circle. Everything is in case. Remember when we was talking about just earlier the industry? What's an encyclopedia?
Encyclopedia is a book with a bunch of facts in it.
What does pedia refer to? Am I wrong?
Pedia.
Am I wrong in saying that most things with pedia in it refer to children?
Yeah, like a pediatrician. Yes, I was thinking I couldn't make the connection.
So we got pedia.
Okay.
Now we got in a cycle or a circle.
Okay.
In a circle of children.
Okay.
That's where we get encyclopedia from the knowledge disseminated to the youth.
Okay.
In a teaching circle. But we was just talking about the circle of an industry too, how things are. I don't want to. I'm not focusing on the geometrics of it. I'm more like talking about how societies or American societies hold information, you know what I'm saying, and don't disseminate it properly. Now, when I pointed out excuse me, I don't want to sidetrack our conversation
by
trying to overbuild, but that's where
it's all
with
good.
it, you know
I'm fucking with it. You know what it kind of feel like?
Yeah, what's up?
It kind of feel like I'm talking to my uncle, right?
That's
part of a motherfucking little sidebar group.
Hey, look, I mean, like I said, look, the people I look up to in life, I look up to a man named Pascal Beverly Randolph. I don't know if a lot of people are going to be cool about that, but he was like a black brother. He was mulatto, actually, and he was the one who brought the Rosicrucian order to the United States. Yo, when he came amongst these Europeans, they bowed the fuck down.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about they bowed the fuck down on some military shit. I'm talking about on some knowledge shit. This is what I mean. Every Masonic organization or for lodge that he stepped into, after having a conversation with him, he was the Grand Master.
So, real quick, is Rosicrucians, because I got a book on that, Rosicrucians, I forgot about I got a little pink book at the house. My family gave it to me for my birthday. So, is that Masons?
Not necessarily.
Okay, because when I read a little bit of it, it was talking on everything.
The majority of them might be Masons, but Rosicrucianism is a little different from Masonry.
Yeah, because I remember reading something, it was talking about like everything you're looking for is already in you. You ain't got to really look to it. And I'm like, but I learned that from the Wizard of Oz.
Well, there you have it. A lot of the people who write all that material was into the knowledge too.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the compliment, because in the hood they just say but on the level you said it on some knowledge, like, so I really appreciate that.
Because we on camera and TV and it's like, well, I'm going to tell you this, but I can't give you this too. I can't say just all of it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. So when you was coming up and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. Who were some of your biggest influences coming up from, this rap shit?
Remember, I was talking about like underground dudes, like I turned out like Chill Rob G, you know what I'm saying? Like people would have probably seen that video on Soul Beat and would have been like, waiting for the next one. But I was that dude who was like, oh, dude, raw. And let me go look and find some more stuff from him. Lord Finesse.
I like Lord Finesse.
Yeah, Lord Finesse. He had a big influence on me. Big Daddy Kane. I'm mentioning the ones that obviously LL, all of the greats, Run DMC. I'm trying to mention dudes that you probably wouldn't think. And so, obviously, Too Short was still, even in that regard, Too Short was still one of my favorites, but I didn't want to be like him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like the dudes who was doing these things with these words.
Yeah,
that was making my brain say, "Oh, he was hella clean." Like, you know what I'm saying. I was like, "Oh, I gotta say some of that."
So I remember when I was watching on Instagram and shit like that they said about the Jadakiss battle. Right? Did you ever get close to that?
Oh, no, that ain't even nothing I was trying to get close to. Some things be like, that's just like in the hood when a nigga say, I'll beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? You gonna say, now, beat your ass. But y'all ain't really, y'all don't really want to fight.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to be known. Blood, don't be out on the block saying that you got hands like that. And don't be on the internet saying that you battle anybody for 500,000.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's some people, it's hundreds of people who will win that bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just was like, okay, for real.
Yeah.
Damn, come on.
Okay.
And I know you're not going to say nothing.
So check this out. I been asking my guests and shit like that to name their 5, favorite diss records. What is your 5 favorite diss records?
No Vaseline popped up straight in my head. You know what I'm saying? Then I thought that Khan didn't give the bar to I thought Common Sense didn't give a bar to Cube. But when I listened back, I was like, wow.
But I know y'all biased to Cube though, right?
I ain't biased to Cube. But hell no, I ain't biased to nobody. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, blood. If you my homie, you got them hands put on, bro, you gonna get told by Cash. I'm not gonna be the one who be like, oh, blood, this family. I'm be like, blood, how the fuck you misrepresent like that? Yeah. You got slapped all up, bro. Yeah. And so that I ain't saying Cube got slapped all up, but Common's response, again, I wasn't respecting his response back in the day.
Okay.
But then when I listened back, I was like, damn, Com kind of barred Cube up because you know what? Cube was trying to huff and puff on Calm, and Calm came back calmly.
Didn't he say something like you trying to sell bean pies and St. Ides in the same season?
He was going there. He went there, and so in retrospect, not when it came out, but in retrospect, I give Calm his props on that one diss song. Then Nas killed
Ether.
Come on, man.
So them is 3. You got 2 left.
Come on. I mean, Ether. I just got to give Ether his moment. I'm not saying that he just. When you get into that realm, like you talking about 2 kung fu masters in a kung fu movie, ain't nobody weak in the equation. So now it's just about the flow and the momentum of the movement. Like who gonna capture the flow to get that punch in right? Because y'all both experts.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody weak. And so in that regard, Nas caught it to me. Because Jay-Z was on a high horse.
Yeah, he was.
And you shooting down at Nas. You was shooting off the hill.
That was a self-defense murder.
I'm just saying, but he was shooting off the hill. He had all advantage lyrically. You got all the money. You can't crush him. And so that's a thorn in your side because you had everything that a rapper would want to go in the battle, but you didn't just prevail with a clean win.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Prevail. You know I'm
Prevail.
Oh, prevail.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they prevail.
Nah,
you over there saying that
was
shit.
that little shot of that thing. Prevail might be hard, though.
Hey,
we might have to look that up. Huh?
That means the shit is working.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
So you got 2 left.
Okay. Oh, yeah. What? Battle rap songs.
So you got you said No Vaseline, Commons, what is it called, The Bitch in You?
Yeah, The Bitch in You.
And
then that new one, Takeover.
You said Ether, and then you said Takeover?
No, not the Takeover, Ether. Yeah,
Ether, and then you got 2
But
left.
I mean, honestly, to keep it a whole buck, right while I was just imagining, what was going through my head was that Jay-Z song. That's why I said The Takeover, but I wasn't. But the music was just going, so I got to say The Takeover, because that mug was hard. Like, I mean, ain't that who running that rap shit? Yeah, that was hard. Now, again, from my perspective as an MC, I would have loved if that's what he came at me with. Yeah. You feel me? I would have been like, oh, you didn't slip, blood. Because that's what Nas was thinking too. Yeah. Like, you coming at me with this? Yeah. Psst, wow. That's what he was thinking. Like, let me show you how I feel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even with your fake hard beat. That beat hard, but that beat ain't the emotion of the battle. Nah, turn that shit off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not the African drum we trying to bang.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and he came right back with it. But Nas did that. He came right back with that Ether. Yeah. And told him, look, bro, I'm gonna take you to the cosmos with this one, bro. Yeah. You on that land shit, right? Yeah. You on that materialistic shit. Yeah. Let me hit you with the Ether. Okay. And he talked to him in so many ways with that title, with that song, to speak that this is a cosmic gas. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You about to get hit with the cosmic gas.
This is spiritual.
And you so materialistic.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, ooh, Ether? Wow, I had to listen to this. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? And I can't think of the last one, bro. So I gave it to Jay-Z, but I ain't got nothing too much to say about his song. Like I said, that the emotion of that beat was white boy. You know what I'm saying? That's a buck. That wasn't black battle rap. That's white boy shit. Dong. Fuck you bringing that to the shit for? That's why you lose to fucking with a motherfucker like me, because I'm going to rattle all the black shit. I'm going to have niggas like dancing around like, you know what I'm saying, like war drums and shit. And you're going to be like, oh, I tapped into the wrong emotion. I wanted white people to think I won too.
You know what's crazy? Because I feel you. You know what I'm saying? I'm reading this book by Jawanza Kinjufu, right? Called Hip Hop versus Mayotte. And he says in this book, it's dope. He says in this book, the difference between African psychology and European psychology is that African psychology is that your greatness is based on where you are spiritually. That's how great you are. European psychology is based on how much money you got. And that's what makes you great. So then I tied it into where rap is. Back in the day, you was a great rap artist or rapper, DJing, breakdancing, MCing, and DJing, breakdancing, graffiti, and rapping and in your conscious message. That's where your wealth lied at. But now, motherfucker, right now be talking about European psychology. You only as dope as how big and expensive your belt is.
Exactly. And that's one thing I ain't gonna succumb to, and that's why I just stand on my horse. And you know what? That betrays an artist when it's time to go into battle. Yeah. That's why it betrayed Jay-Z. Yeah. Your white man spoils wasn't there to help you beat Nas. They wasn't there to help you. Like, oh, yo, you couldn't have built a statue big enough to deal with them lyrics Nas was binging for your ass. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nothing you could do with that white shit.
My favorite 5 diss records are No Vaseline, Ether, Hit 'Em Up, even though I love Biggie, Hit 'Em Up, Dre Day with Snoop and Wankster by 50 Cent.
Wankster was cool. Pac disses to me fell in a different category. He taught me how to forget about all that and just come from the hood, like raw emotion, you know what I mean? And he prevailed using, again, he appealed to what I was talking about. Like, he wasn't about to come back with no don't. Not to keep on going there, but he was like, I'm going to tap into the raw emotion of the black man. And I'm going to say stuff that ain't been said on record. Like, fuck you, bitch, excuse me. You know, I don't know, but you know how Pac did it? Pac was like, I'm going
fuck you, motherfucker. Flip your claim.
He like, I'm going to diss you in a different way. Like, I'm going to step outside of artistry and talk to you like we about to box. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't never done too many times like that in hip-hop. Think about it. Like, how many people before, even Cube wasn't talking to Common like we about to box. Pac kind of started that, like a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'll beat your ass. That's why when Yuck and Game got into it, I had to respect Game. Yeah. Because Game taught him like a town dude. Yeah. I'll beat your ass. That's what come out your mouth when you ready. All that other rhetoric and shit, I'm going to keep it a buck. It don't, nope. We still in the East right now, right? Yep. And so that don't fly. It don't fly. So somebody tell you, I'll beat your motherfucking ass. Excuse me. But again, there you go. You lost, bro.
So check this out. Hieroglyphics is on the NWA family tree.
Definitely.
So check this out. I got to ask you a question. Say they did an NWA tour, right? Hiero going, right?
I wish.
But I'm saying if they was, do Eminem get to go on the tour?
Why wouldn't he? Okay, it would be a pleasure and an honor, man. Like I told you, bro. Come on. You was talking about because he tried to call himself Rap God and then I tried to respond to that?
I was summing up just because it's NWA and he's white. Will he still be able to go on the tour? That's where I was going.
Let me tell you something, and this is something I want to bring to people. And I study etymology, and that's like the history of words and how words change over time. And black people don't got no ownership over the word nigga. Okay. And so, he'll definitely be able to come because he's a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I give it a buck. I mean, look at what the society calls, if take color out of it, and if you could only hear his lyrics and what the content he brought. The reason why a lot of us get offended over hearing other people use that word is because we act like, oh, that word need to only be used to denigrate us. Okay. Think about that. Like, don't denigrate yourself with our bad word. Yeah. That's hella stupid. Let them open that thing up, you know what I'm saying, and call each other that shit so we ain't tripping no more. I remember once I was ready to tell you probably been ready to pop them up, somebody over hearing that. You just in the store and 2 other people calling and talking to themselves, and then you got to have some emotional intelligence and say, oh, so now I got copyrights, and then that's my intellectual property. This demeaning, this bad word, it only applies to me. Yeah. That's how we be. I'm like, that's hella stupid. Let them be niggas, bro. All they want to.
So I'm going to ask you this last question real quick because I love to ask questions. And you know what? I think that it'd be interesting if you and one of your opponents, y'all got drunk and y'all sit there and go back and forth and ask each other synonyms. You know what I'm saying? Like one motherfucker say, what does kind of mean? Okay, I got one. Maybe, sort of, lightweight, a little bit, in a way. But check this out. Say this happened. Say you really like this chick, right?
Okay.
You never, she worked with you or something. You familiar with her.
Yeah.
You go out to have hamburgers with her with your partners on her very first date, right?
Hamburgers with the partners.
She says, can I get the mayonnaise and the mustard on the sides? Her hamburger comes. She puts the mayonnaise and the mustard on top of the bun and not inside next to the meat. Is that a deal breaker?
It's definitely not a deal breaker.
Some people say that's a deal breaker. I'm going to watch this, bitch.
That crazy. They just want them a Barbie doll, standard little, can't even, they just want I don't even want what they want. I want to see what's going on with baby. You put the mustard and the ketchup on top of the burger.
Yeah.
Because what might she do in the bedroom?
Okay.
I'm just keeping I'm not, no disrespect, but I'm just keeping it. If she putting the mustard on and it still tastes good.
Yeah.
But then you start to think if her hands is looking all, now she put her hands all in it and looking all sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll be like, you nasty. But when she did it, I would have paused before she got to that point because I got game like that. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Out of what's going on at the table one time, huh? Let me explain this one.
For sure. So before we get out of there, is there any props you want to go to and go pick up the new album? Anything you want to say?
Not necessarily. I would want them to tap in with that big head sign, so thanks for throwing that out. But primarily, the information I like disseminating ain't really captured in one of my albums. You can follow me on Instagram, Casual Rap God, or you can check Smash Rockwell on Twitter. All the support is appreciated, and I mean, it's a pleasure being here and an honor, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for having me.
Okay. And this is another episode of I Need to Know with my special guest, Casual.
Yeah.
And as usual, you tuned into another episode of I Need to Know, as I said before, and as usual, come on, you know what I want.